I think we have them there in the direction, in the regie. I think I saw their picture online a second ago. So hopefully, Ulrich and Harold, we're really looking forward to hearing from you, learning from you, getting some inspiration. And for those of you still watching, there's Ulrich. We'll also, please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll come back in a half an hour and we'll get to some of the questions and hopefully can have a little fun with the Q&A with Ulrich and Harold. But take it away, Ulrich, and welcome to the RA Awards.
Thank you very much. Oh, do you see me? Thank you very much, and I'm really pleased to be with you. And it's true, I am the digital one. If you look into my studio, you will not see, not the digital, I'm the handmade artist. I draw everything by hand with pens and ink and paper. And I'd like to show you quickly what my job is. I draw, for example, covers for the Disney magazines all over the world, like this one. Then I draw comic stories like this one. I did children's books like these two here. And sometimes I did special jobs like this thing here, for example, which was for Elle magazine. And they asked me to draw Karl Lagerfeld, Jean-Paul Gaultier, and so on as Disney characters. It was huge fun. And it was kind of difficult to work with one of them, but most of them, they were really fun to work with. And this was another job I did. And the way I started was that when I was a kid, I read this magazine here. It is called Mickey Mouse Magazine. And what I did was I looked through it and I saw some stories that I thought were great and some stories that I thought were kind of not so great. So I ripped out all the great ones, and it turned out they were all by one person. And this person was Karl Barks. This is the guy. And I saw this picture in a book. And when I saw this picture, I was thinking, this is the job I want to do. I was maybe 12 years old when I decided that. And so I started to draw Donald and Mickey Mouse. And I started to draw Donald and Mickey Mouse, and I never was thinking if it really makes sense, if this is a job I can do. It's more like when you want to become a fireman or like an astronaut. And normally when you're 15, 16, you become serious and you become an accountant or mafia boss or something like that. But I never stopped, and I actually wrote to Karl Barks. And I sent him a picture that I made, and he sent this here back to me when I was 15, which is super nice. And so I was really encouraged to do this work. I sent my work to a Dutch publisher for whom I'm working now, and they sent me this letter back saying that my work is unfortunately not up to standard. Now it is, luckily. So when I was 20, I went to Disney, and I just wanted to work freelance. And by accident, they just needed somebody at exactly that moment. So at that moment, they said, well, you can work at our office in Frankfurt. So I started as an artist and then moved to Paris and became art director. And I was in charge of all the publishing and licensing artwork in Europe until 2006, as you said before. And then I became freelance. And normally when you're an art director, you don't draw anymore, but I love drawing. And so I only worked 4 days a week as an art director. And the 5th day I was drawing comics and covers and so on. And this is something I would like to show you. And this is what I'm doing now. And on some part of my time, I do comics, covers, and so on for Disney, but I still do art direction. And this is something that I wanted to say. I do art direction since about 30 years now. And there's one thing that I see all the time. I see people who want to make a beautiful, amazing picture, but they forget the story. And this is kind of what my quest is about, how to tell a great story. So what I would like to show you first is how I work. And actually, I work with paper, and I use these pens here, like this here. Then I use this nib, which is the same that Karl Barks already used. And luckily, I found some on eBay, and I use this kind of old fountain pen, this one here. It's 80 years old and makes wonderful lines. And I start my work very, very small. I'm nearsighted and I love small things. So my sketches are, I will show you more in detail a little bit later, but my sketches are small like this. And because I have paper, I always have these strips of paper. I fold them and make them into little books. So this is how I started drawing. And this has several advantages. It's A, it is very fast. B, I can do it wherever I want. You can see here, this here is my office. In this office is a little sketchbook, then some ink, 2 pens, and a tiny fountain pen. And that's all I need. So I love to travel. I love to sit at the beach, for example. And wherever I am, I can do this work. And here you can see, for example, this is one of my sketchbooks. And you can see this is my first sketch for a cover. And then you can see the final cover, which is here. And actually everything is already here. And the advantage of working like this, as I said, is you're faster and the story is jumping in your eye. You cannot do too many details so that it is impossible to see the story later. Here, for example, some artists, I work a lot with an artist called Dan Yippes, and he, for example, is thinking first and then drawing. I'm thinking and then drawing a lot. For example, these are sketches for one cover. And while I'm drawing, sometimes they are very loose and sometimes I see something in the drawing that I actually didn't draw. And so sometimes things come up like magic. I sometimes work for other publishers, like this here was for Lego. And this is a little book for Lego. And again, because the sketches are so small, they have to be really clear. It's very easy to be clear. Then I'd like to show you how I draw comics. This is a complete comic story that I just did. And I did it together with Dan Yippes. And so I start these little sketches and I do use a computer. I enlarge the picture and print it out in blue. And then when I have this printout, I draw over it. I can move some things and can put the text in the right place and so on. And then I draw in blue and then with my, with my pen and ink to finish the drawing. And I'd like to show you some examples. This here, for example, this is the next step. After I made the little drawing, I would print it out. You see in blue, I put the logo of the publisher. This is for the Dutch Donald Duck magazine. And I start drawing blue, then red, and then with the fountain pen, and then I draw it again another time. And this is how an inked cover would look, like this. I know the camera may not be so sharp, so later I show you a PDF where you see it better. Then another thing that's really important for me is not only that you tell a great story, but also that you use the personality of the characters. And I have a little daughter, so I read all these old Donald Duck stories again now. It's real fun. And I see all these emotions that certain characters have. For example, Uncle Donald is not acting like Uncle Scrooge. And so I try to develop that more. And I also try not to be sweet. I don't want to make drawings that are just cute or go like, oh, so nice. I want really the characters to have character. And you can see it here, for example. This is an original half page from the Donald Duck story that I just showed you. I can, well, I'll not show you, but this here is for example, an expression which is not cute. Or with Mickey, it's a little bit more difficult. By the way, this is interesting. This is inked with a pen, which is a little bit more adult and strong. And this here is inked with a brush. And when it's with brush, it becomes sweeter. But I still try to put the, how to say, give character to Mickey Mouse, for example. And this is a quite extreme expression here. Or here's another one. And so that's how I try to keep the characters alive. This is a complete page. And here is another cover. And now this is a cover that I've done for Finland. And I'd show you the steps again. I made these very, very tiny sketches. Then a more precise one in the template, and then the finished cover. And I think I'll show you the more detailed things at the end, because first I wanted to show you some accidents that happen and how accidents can be really beneficial. When I was working for Elle and I drew Karl Lagerfeld, Jean-Paul Gaultier and so on, it was I had a very tight deadline, and I was inking. I was working again together with Dan Yippes. I was inking, and I have a colorist who's working for Disney, who does all the colorings for the Disney storybooks, for example. And he was supposed to color these pictures in a traditional way. And then it was so late that he said, I have no time to finish this. And I didn't know what to do. I said, please make me just a tiny, tiny sketch, color sketch. And so he just made a tiny color sketch and sent it to me. And I had another friend of mine sitting with me next to me, and I said, give me that color sketch. And he mounted it under my lines. And this actually created this new style. We just put these very, very rough color sketches under the lines, and it looked much more fresh than if I had done it traditionally. So by accident, we created a new style. Here's something else that was kind of fun story. I did this story for Barbara, and it's a German fashion magazine. And I made little sketches again. I made a kind of story where Mickey would be in a photo shoot. And they went to an island in South Africa, but the model missed her plane and couldn't come on time. So by accident, the photographer was also a model, and the editor-in-chief was also a photographer. So actually, this is the thing that I did, and actually the woman on the photo is in reality the photographer, and the one who made the photos is the editor-in-chief. Now, I just created the sketches for this, and they recreated the scene based on my sketches, and then we put the drawings together with the photos. Then here's another thing that shows this importance of attention for detail. This is a sketch for a Goofy story that I did, and I drew it again. I finished it very, very tightly. That means all my lines were very clear, and I asked Dan Yippes if he could ink it. Normally you don't ask an artist like Dan to ink, but he said yes, he would do it. And I think he had fun doing it. So this is the page. And the story is about Goofy inviting Mickey for dinner. He makes a wonderful dinner. He wants to flambe, I don't know how it says in English, but he wants to put fire with cognac or something like that on the dish. Everything explodes, and he gives Mickey a pizza, a frozen pizza. He said, "Oh, do you like frozen pizza?" And in my sketch, on this drawing here, the last one, the frying pan is complete, but Dan put a hole into the frying pan. So these little things, these made really, really nice stories, because there was this explosion, so this made the hole into a frying pan. Just two other things. When I was art directing, I gave many suggestions to the publishers that I was working with, and often they were not being done. So I asked, when I was the art director for Disney, I asked, can I make two books. So I made two books based on little movies, short movies from Disney. One was called Goliath. This is a sketchbook, and here, this is how it looks, like this. And here is this scene that you will see right now. And in 2 minutes, it will be Harald. I just finished this quickly. This is the final page. And the story with this was, I asked the colorists to paint by hand. And by accident, my boss at Disney had taught me a technique that, well, I kind of forgot. And then this was actually the technique that the people used in the 50s and 60s, and it was with casein colors. So I didn't know what casein colors were, and I was searching, and finally it turned out these are colors that you use normally for children's painting or for painting a wall. So this is painted by hand with these casein colors. I will not show you the PDF now because otherwise Harald won't have time. So thanks a lot for joining us, and now to Harald. Thank you. I don't know if Harald is on. Yes, okay, good. Bye-bye.
Now you hear me? I hope so. I'm taking over now. So this was the story of my brother. And I think we were asked together because it's a special thing that two brothers are working in the same direction. So I heard that there's a lack of personal contact this time because of Corona. So I thought about talking a little bit about our background. So Ulrich was the bigger one, is the bigger one, the older one. And he started very early with his comic ambitions. And for us was clear that he would be something like this in his life. For me, it was not clear. I started a little bit architecture, because my father is architect and my mother also, but she's also a pianist and these things. So I didn't really know what to do. So I started architecture and saw it's not good for me. So I changed to design because it was very open. Design is open to a lot of directions. And I thought, okay, I will find my way. Later on, I had very short one teacher with animation, 2D animation. It was very, very short, but it was for me the idea, okay, it works fine and I'm quite good so far in it. So that's, and I saw my brother is in this profession, so it's possible to go this way. Yeah, and then after finishing the studies, I actually by accident get the job for a video game, but it was 1994, 95, so the games were a little bit different to today. So I show you a short overview of this animation. I did it was my first job. Please excuse. I try to share it. Let's see if I find it. Oops, this is the wrong one. This is the right one. Yes. Okay, I hope I share it now. So this kind of game, it was in the world of Monkey Island, but we were far away from the quality. And I never knew if anyone would like this. So this is it. So I was very unsure if it was appreciated by anyone. But today I'm very lucky that in last years I saw that the kids, they played it in that time. They are grown up now and they are chatting and they are talking about their childhood with this game. And they were very happy with it. So in retrospective, I maybe did a good job. I don't know. So it was my start. Then I have to say it's very good to have a brother in this position with connections. So every now and then I got a connection from him. but every time I had to be on my own responsibilities. Of course, he couldn't say, hey, he's good one. He said, okay, try it if you want. But it was quite successful. So one of the early connections is today still my connection for the greatest jobs, the biggest jobs. So I have to be thankful for that. Otherwise, it was also, before I show more, I want to tell a personal story. It was not every time very easy to be the small brother of a famous brother. And sometimes when the jobs were not so good running, I thought about if also it would be a good idea for me to be a Disney artist. And one day I asked my brother if I could get an inking test, because I knew there were inking tests for people, and he said, okay, do it, but do it under a wrong name so that they can't connect you to me, and you have your own skills, and they don't have to say, okay, it's his brother, let him let him go. So I did it under a wrong name, and the result were second, please. So I got some pieces of art from them. I had to ink this Jungle Book. It's part of my inking. And this crazy stuff, they want to ink you. This is horror because only straight lines. So these were very hard tests. And I felt I was very good, but I was too slow. But they told me, okay, you are not bad, but it's not enough. So they gave me the ability to go on testing, and maybe one day. So it was okay. I was quite okay with it, because it was not bad. It was okay. But then there came another more jobs, and till today I have to say that it was maybe a strange way to go, because I never went the normal way to studios. I did most things alone, and had to find my jobs, but it went quite well. Now I give you a short, more or less short overview of 25 years of animation before I get the last step I want to tell. So this is next thing to share. Okay, I try. Yep. Media player. Next play. No, wrong. So this is this. I hope you see it. Now I give you an overview over maybe 2% of my jobs, not the baddest one, but okay, it's so much. I stopped at one time to pick more, because it will be boring maybe. There are some funny things, like here, this was for Ferrero. I developed some figures, but they didn't realize them. But I was paid, it was okay. There you can see sometimes I go to schools and make courses in video and in comic. There are drawings for friends for free. Okay, there are drawing for a lot of money, for few money. So it's a bunch of chocolates, they say. I don't know. So a lot of things, a lot of different stuff, and I'm very happy that it's so so different, because I found out that after too long in one similar work in one direction, I'm getting bored. So here it was the last thing here in the screen. I show a few of cereal packages. This was some special job for me, because in this time I didn't have any good job, and I thought about how getting a new one. So I stop it here. So to get a new one, and I had no idea. So when I went to the supermarket, I saw a very bad package of cereals, but it was a great brand. I thought, okay, they could have better drawing from me. So I found out the number of the responsible person in the company, and this is almost impossible normally, because they say normally, you can go to our what's the name? I forget the name. So you can't ask us. But he told me, okay, if you can do it better, then do it. So they gave directly from the company, they gave me the order to renew them. And that was a great job, because it was very funny to develop personalities, a little bit kind of Disney style, more or less. This was very interesting for me and brought good money for a long time. Other times I didn't very often make advertise, because mostly it went quite well. But when I did it, normally I didn't success. So I don't know how, but more or less I every time had the amount of work I needed. Okay, then at one day, the former friend of Ulrich, I was very early working for, asked me to join a project named Conny. Conny is a German child book. This is Conny, and they wanted to do a series of it. And then I had to develop a trailer. They had no technique for it, and they were not sure if it should be in 3D or 2D. So I could develop my own idea, and I made a little strange thing. And it's often that I try to do a little bit unconventional things, hoping that they find their way. So I share again. Wait a second, please. It is this one here, and I try the next one. No, this one. So this is not conventional, because I worked in paper models. I show you later how they were done. Maybe the animation is not very special, but the feeling of the room is special, because you will see this is a little bit 3D and 2D mixture, but in paper model. So that was it was okay to them, and it was successful. Successful, so that ZDF joined the project, and we could start this project. Later on, it was decided to make it totally in 3D, because this technique was not practically. It was too expensive to do it, because there are no studios working like this, and you have to go a smooth way when you want to start a series. Series is hard stuff, because a lot of things. Few people today, you don't get the money to make. It's not easy to get enough money for these kinds of projects, because there are so much in Europe, and you have to join countries and studios and TV station. So it was started in Barcelona, and then I was living for 1 year in Barcelona, near to Ulrich. It was very funny. And now I want to show you what I did with the technique of the trailer. So I hope you see what I'm doing here. I really found the model. I tried to pick it together again, yeah, this is the trick, is that it is from paper, and it's like only sheet of paper. So you can move, if you see it now, that this is only paper, but in a in a special angle. It's not easy to to look. It's mirrored. From some angles, you can move there, and the illusion works. Yeah, but you can break the illusion if you go too far. Okay, but this is only for special angles. So okay, this was the technique, and I tried another day. I tried the technique again with this kind of model. So I like it also very much, but it's not complete anymore. Okay, I have to wait. Yeah, like this. So also here you can move. It was for Eric Kästner, Amy and the detectives. I don't know if you know this stuff. It was I was inspired by the cover of the book in the yellow, and I did a short trailer also, but to be honest, I can't find it anymore. So I'm back here. Okay, the series was quite successful in the end. I worked over several years. I only joined the first one, developed the characters and so on. We did special storyboards. No time for it. Okay, if you're still here, I fast show the last the last job. It is my biggest job till now. It's again Connie. They asked me for the art direction of the cinema of the movie, and here I started and talk. It's only 2-3 minutes. I hope the time is there. Wait, please. So it starts now. I made a lot of things here. I made the poster. I had to do the architecture, the models, the colors. I made the style. I was asked for every character I had to develop. I developed these cities. You can see how they were. Yeah, how they worked. It worked in the end quite well. I'm very happy with this because it depends on the possibility of the studio and of the project, what comes out of your work. I didn't do better concepts when I was working for the series, but in this movie there were more power in the production, and it was fun to be able to influence everything. So yeah, it's like feeling it's mine. Of course, because I was involved in everything. I developed, yeah, maybe not everything, but most things are developed by me. And yeah, this is fun. And I don't know if it's going on in this way. Okay, it's maybe with Connie too. It was okay in the Keynote. It was fine. It was successful. Even if it was Corona, we came out and were in the cinemas, and it worked. So we were #1 for a long time. Also because the others didn't dare to come out. So yeah, it was successful and it was fun. And maybe I get a second job like this in the next Connie, I think so. But I don't know where the journey will end. So maybe I'm still testing unconventional solutions. Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's my part of the story. Okay, I stop it here. I think it's okay. This is the tower. Okay, they did a good job in animation too. I'm very happy with this because it's not under my influence. So I was very grateful. Thank you for. Okay, I stop it here. Yes, okay. That was my part. Thank you.
Harold, and there we are. Thank you, Harold, and thank you, Ulrich. You guys have absolutely inspired us. Yeah, I don't know if you've been able to see some of the comments, how everyone is enjoying it and really blown away. The irony is we're, of course, We've been talking all day about immersive tech and XR and 3D, and then 2D models on paper have blown everyone away, and really some of the oldest art forms of drawing have really blown everyone's mind. So thanks so much to the two of you. We actually